part of your first lesson of history, nationalism in Europe. Important, interesting, and easy to learn. So, the idea of a nation, remember, did not come just by war and fighting or by expanding your territory. Another important part in developing this entire concept was culture. So, notion of the nation was also developed through art, poetry, stories, and music. Now, what exactly is Romanticism? It's a movement. What type of a movement? A cultural movement. So please remember, cultural is your key word. You have to write the word cultural. A cultural movement which tried to develop the nationalist sentiment. Now, those who believed in Romanticism, that is the romantic artists, they criticized. That is, what did they speak against? What did they write against? That is science and reason. They criticized science and reason and focused, gave importance to intuitions, that is your inner voice, the mystical feelings and emotions. What was the objective of this movement, of this Romanticism? The aim was to create a sense of shared collective heritage and a common cultural past as the basis of the nation. So this whole part from Romanticism is your definition. That is, what sort of a movement, what was criticized, what was focused upon, and what did it try to do, what was the objective. Now 3 examples are given which very beautifully links this whole concept of Romanticism. The examples are linked with this. So first example is about a German philosopher. His name, Johann Gottfried Herder. Be very particular with your spellings over here. He felt true German culture could be got amongst the common people, that is the Da folk. Now how? Through folk songs, folk poetry and folk dance. So songs, poetry and dance. We know all this is a part of culture, songs, poetry and dance. But here it is folk songs, folk poetry and folk dance. So through these 3 things, the true spirit of the nation could be popularized. So collecting and recording. You have to collect these songs, these poetries and dances. So collect them, record them, that is keep them. Keep them for the future. So collecting and recording the folk culture could be the project of nation building. What is the second example? Here they say that giving importance, emphasis, stressing upon vernacular language, that is your local language, and collection of local folklore was for 2 reasons. So giving importance to vernacular language, that is use the vernacular language, collect your local folklore. There were 2 main reasons for this. One is to get back, recover the ancient national spirit, and second, carry this message of modern nationalism to the people who were illiterate. So carry this message of nationalism through this dance, through folk songs and folk poetry to those people, group of people who were illiterate. Now here the example is given with the country Poland. Partition at the end of the 18th century by Russia, Prussia, Austria. These were your big powers, your great powers. So Poland is not independent any longer. But how did they keep the feelings of nationalism alive? It was through music and language. So through music and language, Poland tried to keep the feelings of nationalism alive amongst its people. Karol Kerpinski, the name of an individual, celebrated the national struggle through operas and music. So your struggle could be done even by fighting and with wars and conflicts. But Romanticism did not encourage that. So here you have this example. He celebrated the struggle through operas and music. And folk dances like mazurka and polonaise became nationalist symbols. What is your third example? It deals with language. How language was used to develop that idea of nationalism, a very important part. So the role of language. After Russia occupied Poland, Polish language was removed from school and Russian language was imposed. So once Russia took control of Poland, the Russians said no more use of Polish language in schools or anywhere. Everywhere only the Russian language will be used. In 1831, an armed rebellion took place against the Russian forces. So the Polish people in 1831 had an armed rebellion against the Russian forces, but Russia defeated them, so it was crushed. Now members of the clergy are your priests, people of the church. What did they do? They used language as a weapon of national resistance. With arms, they were totally defeated. They tried to fight the Russians using arms, but Russia being very powerful, the Polish people were crushed. Now members of the clergy decided, let us use language as a weapon of resistance. So the Polish language was used for church gatherings and religious preaching. Therefore the bishops and priests, bishop is a class of priest, like you have your pope, you have your cardinal, you have your bishop. So the bishops and priests were sent to jail at Siberia. Two places, either to the jail or to Siberia as a punishment, because they were refusing to preach in the Russian language, and Russia had emphasized, had very clearly said only Russian language had to be used, but they were not doing this. So they were sent to the jail or to Siberia. So use of Polish was seen as a symbol against Russian dominance. So this is about your Romanticism. This is your definition. Then your three examples. First one is with culture. Second one is with dance, music, operas. Third one is with language. So I hope now this part is very, very clear to you all, and you all will find it easier to learn now.